We were warned not to scream. It lets the gas in faster. That was the only advice they gave us about dying quietly. The attack came just before dawn. As if hell had chosen the hour of prayer to reach for us. I remember hearing nothing at first. Just the soft squelch of boots shifting in wet trench mud. Then came the smell. Sweet. Rotting. Like wet leaves fermenting in a cellar. We looked up. To see a strange green fog sliding over the top of the parapet. Creeping down into the trench like it had a mind of its own. At first, no one moved. The fog was thick. Unnatural. Almost beautiful in the half-light. Then the shouting started. Sharp breath. Gas. Masks. Gas. Panic doesn't look like chaos. It looks like hands fumbling for life. Fingers trembling too hard to open a buckle. Tin canisters dropped in the mud. 100 throats. Sucking breath like it might be their last. Morgan was next to me. Young. Barely shaved. He couldn't find his mask. I saw his eyes widen in real time. First confusion. Then understanding. Then raw terror. He turned to me. Tried to speak. But the green mist hit him like a wave. He dropped to his knees. His scream was strangled halfway. Cut off by the agony clawing down his throat. His skin. It began to blister. Fast. Pale bubbles rising under his cheeks and around his lips. His eyes turned red. Vessels bursting as he convulsed. I didn't help. I couldn't. I just watched. That's what I hate the most. The watching. He choked for a full minute. Before falling face first into the mud. Steam hissed off his back. As the gas settled on him. We all knew what it meant. The gas was heavier than air. It would fill the trench from the bottom up. I yanked my mask on, too hard. Felt the strap snap. Not all the way. Just enough to loosen the seal. My heart began to race. I held it in place with my hands. Praying the edges held tight. I could feel the fog brushing my knees. Like a thing alive. Someone was screaming further down the trench. Someone else was laughing. It wasn't funny. It was madness setting in. The worst part wasn't the burning. Or the choking. It was the sound. The gas hissed as it leaked through cracks. Wrapped around boots. Slid through clothing seams. A low, steady whisper. Like breath just behind your ear. Constant. Inescapable. When the wind finally shifted. We were no longer men. We were coughing husks. Eyes watering behind clouded lenses. And Morgan. What was left of him. Was already stiff. We buried him by the latrine wall with the others. Wrapped in whatever we could find. The gas had made a monster of his face. One man refused to look. Another swore Morgan blinked when they laid him down. I didn't say anything. Because in my head, I heard the hiss again. That night, I couldn't sleep. Not because of the cold. Or the rats. Or the groans from the wounded. But because I kept hearing that same low hiss. From somewhere beneath my bunk. Like the fog had gotten into the wood. Into the grain. Into the marrow of the trench. I check my mask every morning now. Twice. Sometimes 3 times. Not just for cracks. I check for breath. For signs that something's inside. Because that gas. It wasn't just a weapon. It was a whispering death. It came with a memory. And it stayed. Like. Comment. Share. Follow. Subscribe. Thank you.